Hello, hi. What's up? Things are being done today. All right, so we're gonna go over submachine guns today, and I have a cool little thing at the end that I think is a good idea that might help out a little bit. So, first things first, they are the meta primaries. There is not a better PvE primary in the game, generally speaking. SMG will do you good 90% of the time. They have very high single mag damage. By that, I just mean the total amount of damage they can do before having to reload. Um, I believe it's second highest in the game. The highest would be sidearms, actually, but they have slightly more range than sidearms and are easier to use. Hence, why submachine guns are a meta. And they're easy to use. They have shorter range. They cap out at 22, 23 meters without some sort of like range fall off extending perk. So close range, mid range, you used to be able to push him out pretty far with the zoom, but with the new zoom changes, you're pretty capped at about 22, 23 meters. The accuracy is lower than most weapons. Now, this is something that I just feel. Sometimes you just are aiming at something, and if it's just out of range, you're just kind of fucked. Which is why it's very good to supplement an SMG with a longer range special or heavy. That's more of a loadout question, but just realize that the submachine gun is pretty much equivalent to your shotgun. Like you're gonna be able to use it further out, but that's kind of its ideal range. Just kind of think shotgun-ish range, like twice shotgun range. That's about it. All right, so preferred perks. I love subsistence on fully automatic weapons. It got a buff a while back. It gets more ammo than any other gun type that uh, can use subsistence. Overflow. Both of these kind of do the same thing, just with different steps. One, you pick up stuff and you double the magazine. This one, you get kills and you get more bullets back. Similar ideas. Skip reloading. Threat detector. Because you're going to be kind of close to people, if people get too close, you get stability, you get reload speed, you get a reload speed multiplier. I believe you also get handling. It's really good. Feeding frenzy. These work similarly because the main thing from threat detector that you want is the reload speed. So you're really, really looking for reload speed. You're going to be reloading a lot because these guns chew through ammo. Demolitionist, pugilist, wellspring. These are just going to pop. You're always going to want one of these on one of your primary weapons in the third column if possible. It's just they're just really good in the third column. In the fourth column, not as much, and that just applies across the board. Your elemental perks, repulsor brace. Pretty sure that's on a dungeon SMG. Eddy current. I do not believe this is on a SMG yet. I've already talked about it multiple times. Eddy current is currently bad, but I believe it's so bad they have to change it. Um, I also believe that if there was a gun that made sense with the way this perk works, it would be a SMG. Because if you don't know, eddy current is if you run for like 2 seconds, then you get a reload speed buff. And if you're amplified, you run for less time and you get a higher reload speed buff. So yeah, I'm thinking if they just get rid of the whole running part, then this would be great. Like if it was just like a base reload and then you got like a really big reload speed when you're amplified, I think that would kind of solve the problem. Heal clip. I don't think there's a gun with heal clip right now either, but again, this is also me trying to future proof. If there's ever a solar SMG with heal clip, it's gonna be good because they reload all the time and they kill things a lot. So this will be good. Utility perks, or any utility perk that you can get in this third column would be pretty good because they already have pretty good reload times. So you don't necessarily have to go for reload speed. Um, Utility perks, in my opinion, here would be something like uh, unrelenting, so you get kills and then you reload. You get kills and then it heals you, similar to heal clip, something like that. Reload perks, just in general, because there are other reload perks that will also work okay, but I just wanted to go over the ones that I thought were the best, being Threat Detector and Frenzy. All right, fourth column, Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy earlier, sorry. Frenzy itself, this again, I know it keeps popping up and it's always near the top. It's because Frenzy is a really, really good perk. I actually think some people are underrating it. It just gives you everything and it allows you to go for something that doesn't involve reload speed because it maxes out your reload speed. So you can go for those utility perks here. Um, Elemental perks such as kinetic tremors, volt shot, incandescent, destabilizing rounds, headshot, and hatchling. These are all available on different types of SMGs, um, and all the perks are good on SMGs. They all work well. Just yeah, these are good ideas, and they also help you synergize with your subclass. Kill clip, multi kill clip. In PvE, I don't normally recommend kill clip, but with the amount of things that you're killing and the frequency at which you reload with the SMG, kill clip works really good, which means that multi kill clip also works really good. The difference between kill clip and multi kill clip is kill clip is a flat 25% after reloading, after getting a kill. Multi kill clip stacks 1, 2, and 3. I think it's like 15%, 30%. It's like 15%, 25%, 30%, something like that, right? It's three different stacks, and it depends on the number of kills you get before you reload. So if I kill two people then reload, I get times two. If I kill three people then reload, I get times three. If I get one kill reload, so on and so forth. Surrounded, similar to Threat Detector, you're surrounded by a bunch of people, extra damage. In game stuff, this is not as good because if you're surrounded by a bunch of people, you're probably fucking dead. But in general, surrounded is really good on SMGs, as you will probably be running in to kill a bunch of guys. Um, Adrenaline Junkie, Swashbuckler, Golden Tricorn, those just go well with the Demo Pugilist Wellspring combination. So almost any combination of these are good. Preferably you put Adrenaline Junkie and Demo together, or Pugilist and Swashbuckler together, and any of these and Golden Tricorn work good. Then just damage perks in general. All the damage perks, anything that can give you damage. There are other options. These are just my favorite because these are the easiest to apply and or give the highest damage values. But there are other damage perks. Now we're going to go over the frames. This is where the interesting thing is going to come in. If I remember to not fuck this up, lightweight frames. They have 900 RPM. The lightweight bonus helps the SMG be more effective. The fact that lightweight gives you 2 tiers of mobility is just it's so good. It's so good on the SMG because you gotta get into range, and moving faster helps you get into range, so it's just good. Great single mag damage. I believe this is the second highest single mag damage of the archetype, which is very good. And if you, as you see, this one only has one negative, is because the only thing that's not very good about it is it has limited range. But that's just an archetypal problem. If this gun had any way to like break its range cap for whatever reason, this thing would be the strongest thing in a game, full stop. No questions asked. Movie magic. Pausing it. And we end the movie magic. So I wanted to show the best available 900 RPMs. Uh, these are the best ones in the kinetic slot. You have prolonged engagement. You get this from the Vanguard. This has every perk that you want. Vice Stinger Origin trait is really good. It's basically subsistence but with no kills. You have reload perks galore. You have subsistence. Grave Robber, which is okay because you're going to be close to punch things anyway. Feed and Frenzy, all those are good for reload. Then you have Frenzy, you have Surrounded, you have Multi-Kill Clip, you have Headstone. All of these are good PvP perks. This thing is S tier. There is not a better stasis SMG in the game. It's not even close. And then the new kid on the block, we have the Showrunner. This one's also really good, but it only has like 1 to 2 perks. That's kind of the problem with this gun, in my opinion. Has overflow, which is really good, and I believe that's pretty much the only one you really care about here. You could go with Grave Robber as a substitute, but you really want that overflow. And then kinetic tremors, because none of the rest of these perks do enough for me, in my opinion. Target lock is not very good on SMGs, for in my opinion, because they don't typically have as much magazine size. Now, I guess if you paired this with overflow, you can see you get up to 72 in the mag, which would be good, but I think kinetic tremors kind of wins out. Origin trait doesn't really apply here in PvP. I'm sorry, in PvE. So yeah, the role you want is overflow and kinetic tremors. You get that, you're flying high. All right, now for the energy slot, you have Funnel Web, aka the Funnel Cake. This one's really good for void builds. Um, you have Subsistence, which is the only perk that I care about in this slot. Some people like Perpetual Motion, not my thing. Subsistence is the move, and then Frenzy or Adrenaline Junkie. Uh, this is a special case in which you don't necessarily need demo in this third column for the adrenaline junkie because it's void. Void has a bunch of ways to regenerate your grenade energy, and when you use your grenade, there's a fragment that gives you um, volatile rounds. Pairing that with adrenaline junkie means that you get a kill, you get the extra damage from your subclass, and you also get the extra damage from adrenaline junkie. So it's very good. You could also just simply go with frenzy because it answers all of those questions for you, and it also comes with the Vice Singer trait. Very good. Very, very good. The problem is this is a world drop, so if you ever see a funnel cape drop for you, you need to check and see if it's any good. And then the best arc, 900, which, to be honest, is the final of our 900s that are currently available that don't suck. Um, you get this one for Crucible. I know, I know, I know. Nobody wants to do Crucible, but whatever. You got to do what you got to do, man. So, recommended perks here. This left column, you have threat detector, you have subsistence, you have demo. So you have 3 solid perks here in this third column. And then in the fourth column, you have kill clip, which is solid. You have surrounded, which is good. Golden tricorn, swashbuckler. You can go with the adrenaline junkie and demo combination. Um, it has a lot of solid perks. Pretty good arc 900 SMG. There's another SMG that I think is better, but it's not 900. So if we're talking about 900 lightweights, this is the move. Origin trait doesn't really do anything for you in PvP. I'm sorry, in PvE, because it only works at the top half of your magazine. And you don't have a way to overflow your mag. So yeah. All right. So next up, we have the precision frame, 600 RPM. These have the highest base range stat for the archetype. The base range stat for the archetype is just the range stat, like the whole bar, whatever. They have the highest across the board generally, which is good. That just means it's a lot easier for them to hit the top end of 22, 23 meters. They're very easy to use and land crits with. That's kind of what precision frames are designed for. They have a lower RPM, which does lead to a slower TTK, and that's even if you're landing headshots, and it needs headshots to feel effective. This happens a lot with this archetype across the board, precision frames in PvE. I think it's bad. I think they need to do even more precision damage just to bring them in line with the other frames, because yeah, they're easier to use, but if they're killing slower, like nobody's ever gonna use them. You gotta give them the benefit. Just don't make them do more damage to the body. Make them do more damage to the head. So then it's like, well, I gotta land headshots, but I can get similar TTK, or maybe even faster. It might even be worth that because it's a quote-unquote skill shot. Um, as far as precision frames go, in the kinetic slot, the only one you can really still get would be an NEOD. Ha ha. Jokes. Um, it's not very good though, so I would still be kind of holding out and waiting for a good kinetic 600 if you're looking for one. The only thing it really has is surrounded in surrounded rampage and multi kill clip. Uh, it does have frenzy, I guess, to go with the multi kill clip. Um, which again is good, but the origin trait does nothing for you. Um, just wait for one with kinetic tremors, in my opinion. We have a strand variation. You get this from Neomuna. This one's okay. The problem is it doesn't have a good enough reload perk, in my opinion. It's almost like they want you to use this as a secondary weapon because it has an envious assassin, but that's just not the move, in my opinion. Keep away sounds great, but you're gonna be within those 15 meters most of the time anyway because it's a SMG. Um, Pulse monitor is your only real option here, and that's not very good. I haven't even gone over what it does, which is just more proof that it's not very good. It does come with hatchling and kill clip, and both of those are good. And the origin trait is also basically just extra damage every now and again, which is good. I would recommend it if you don't have another. Well, I would recommend it if you don't have another 600 like at all. If you do have another 600, like period, then use it. But Strand is struggling with the 600 here. Both of the kinetic slot weapons are really. Now, Unending Tempest. Unending Tempest is a stasis variation. You get this from Crucible. Now, this one's really good. You get the Subsistence and then Frenzy Roll, which is my favorite. You get Demo and Adrenaline Junkie. That's another really good combo. Um, Enlightened Action also gives reload speed based on the amount of hits that you are doing. This one's also really good. You get Headstone. So this is good. This one's good. It also comes with the Crucible Origin trait, which I don't think I talked about before. This one's good because it gives you reload speed and a reload speed multiplier. So you can forego like reload speed perks in this left column if you were so inclined. You have to get a kill and then wait for a short period of time, and it'll proc one quiet moment faster. But typically it procs it 5 seconds of inactivity. But if you get a kill, it'll drop it down um, so that you can get a reload. All right, energy slot. You have Shayura's Wrath as your Void primary. This one has Golden Tricorn and Perpetual Motion for PvE. Perpetual Motion is your only reload perk, so it's all you got. You do have one quiet moment to kind of solve that problem for you to some degree, but it's a struggle. Just wouldn't recommend a 600 in PvE because Shayura is the best you got. Um, it does have an interesting perk here with Alacrity, which gives you a whole bunch of buffs for being the only person in your fire team. But then that only applies if you're doing solo content, so don't know about that one. Every Waking Moment. I think this one's better than Shayura's because it comes with Subsistence, which is a really solid reload perk there. No Origin trait because this one's kind of old. You do get Adrenaline Junkie, so Subsistence Adrenaline Junkie would be really good. But that's about it in my opinion, which is kind of the problem. So Void Precisions kind of are suffering out here. Yeah. All right. So we have aggressive 720 RPMs. These are highest DPS for the archetype. Aggressives are just really good. I think these are the meta variations of SMGs in my opinion. Lightweights are really close, but I think aggressives are better just because of the damage. They do have poor stats across the board, but it's easy to account for them because all the things you care about on the SMG um, can be fixed really easily with just perks in general. Alright, so at least in the kinetic slot for uh, aggressive frame SMGs, you're really just kind of looking at the Immortal for Strand. It has surplus, which is nice, but not as good as Threat Detector, which is probably your best move here. Perpetual Motion would be your second, but you have Threat Detector and you have Kill Clip. That alone is pretty good. Um, you can also go with Hatchling here. It also has field tested, which is a very good perk for primary weapons. It's just the more damage and or kills you get, the more of pretty much every stat you get that's important to you. With the range and the reload speed, stability, handling, it just makes your gun feel better. Makes it a quote unquote workhorse. So this would be my recommendation: Threat Detector Hatchling. Um, Probably the best strand SMG in the game. Extraordinary Edition. I know I said that we were only going to go over the ones you can still get. I don't think there's another kinetic 720 that you can still get right now. Which means that if you luck out and Xur sells this, you're looking for subsistence or overflow in the first column, and then you want frenzy or multi-kill clip. Well, no, frenzy and rampage probably in this column. You don't want multi-kill clip because you don't have like the free reload speed, unless you go outlaw. But I mean, it's SMG. You're not landing crits like that. So, rampage and frenzy. And then you could actually get this one. This is a stasis 720. It's probably the best stasis 720 you can get currently. You're gonna want to go with perpetual motion. It is the only consistent reload speed without you having to do anything but like just kind of move around. Um, Well-rounded would be your second best option here. Um, Headstone just to match your element. Frenzy will help out a lot because it kind of solves the whole reload and stat problem. But then what do you go with on this left column? I don't know. Fourth star charm maybe. It really wouldn't matter at that point. The origin trade is also pretty good if for some reason you're running a build where you can just kind of throw away all of your reload perks and whatnot. Uh, Not your reload perks, I'm sorry. You can throw away all of your abilities, your grenade, your melee, uh, your class ability, all that crap. It'll help you out a ton. As you can see there with stat bumps that they give you with the reload speed and handling and stability and all that shit, but it's just not consistent and it doesn't feel good to not have any ability at all. So in my opinion, you just basically you run frenzy to solve all of those problems, and then you go fourth time's the charm or well-rounded to solve your other issues, and just use it with an ability build. All right, this is the last one. This is a longer one, but I tried to add a little something something to make it easier to pick out which weapons you want to be trying to go for. Now the adaptive 900 RPMs, there are not a lot of these because they just kind of quote unquote brought it back. These have really good stats across the board. Um, that's kind of their thing because they're basically the exact same thing as lightweights. They just don't get a lightweight bonus, and because they don't get the lightweight bonus, their benefit is the stats. Has the best total stats of any archetype. The only thing I think is lower it would be the range, but typically you can throw a range barrel or range finder, not range finder. Was it skip mag? Skip mag? I'll show it in a second. You get one of those range magazine perks and you're good. Sorry, I forgot to go over the 720 energies. Um, this one's actually the easiest, in my opinion, the best arc. 720. It's the best arc SMG in my opinion. It's just Ikelos. It has Frenzy, um, Frenzy and like Shoot the Loot I think would be the best combo here because you can go with Utility because you have Frenzy which solves a lot of other problems for you. Feed and Frenzy and Volt Shot is my preferred combination because I don't think there's another Volt Shot SMG. I don't think, but don't hold me to that. Um, and then the origin trait is whenever you break a shield, you get 50% of your magazine back. This is just really good. PvE, PvP everywhere. So this thing is goated. It's easily the best arc SMG, and it might be the best SMG. You could argue that in my opinion. Um, as far as Void is concerned, oh, and you can't get the Ikelos anymore unless you get lucky. It was from last year, so sorry about that, but there's nothing I can do. I didn't make the game, okay? Unforgiven. This one's really solid. I think it could be better. I think they really went hard on reducing the reload speed because of the origin trait. The more damage you take, the more reload speed buff you can get, which is nice. But you basically got to be running a void build, um, taking advantage of Devour, or a solar build taking advantage of Cure and Restoration to get that to work consistently. And even in in-game stuff, that still might not be a good idea. You do take a lot of damage, but you need a lot of damage to get this thing to stack up. Um, Demo in this third column, or Feed and Frenzy, really depends on how you feel about the reload speed on this thing. Demo Adrenaline Junkie is good. Demo Frenzy is good, because Frenzy will also solve your reload problem. Uh, Demo Rampage, Feed and Frenzy Rampage, Repulsor Brace in demo, or Feed and Frenzy, Golden Tricorn in demo. This thing is really fucking good. As you can see, the only problem is reload speed. So if you deal with reload speed to some degree, this thing will solve a lot of problems for you. And then the final 720 would be this No Survivors. This is also from a dungeon. The previous one you get from last year's dungeon, and this is from this year's first dungeon. Demo Incandescent is probably the combo everybody's really looking for. Um, the only perk I really am going for in that third column would be Demo. Anything else would be a consolation prize. You could also try using Adrenaline Junkie, Demo Adrenaline Junkie. That's always a good combination. Demo Collective Action might be okay as well. Um, Although I really think that Adrenaline Junkie or Incandescent is the best move here. Discord is interesting, but it requires you to get another kill with a different weapon, and I just really feel like this would be better on like special weapons. Now, your adaptive 900s, you get this one from the fishing season. You go fishing, you got a chance to grab this guy. Bug out bag is threat detector, and subsistence in this first column is the best thing, in my opinion. Um, the other ones aren't as good. Swashbuckler is solid here. Incandescent is good here. Subsistence Incandescent is really good because Incandescent, it blows people up and it scorches them, but the scorch is counted as gun damage. So if the scorch kills something, it will also give you ammo back into your magazine. You can go like Demo Multi-Kill Clip. That one's also pretty good. I'm sorry, Threat Detector Multi-Kill Clip and Threat Detector Swashbuckler. All these are good. I, I don't really recommend that you get a whole bunch of these 900 RPM adaptives. Realistically, choose either the lightweight or the adaptive archetype and just use those as your 900s. Don't like separate it out as like I need a solar lightweight and I need a solar adaptive 900. I don't think that's worth your time. Also, disaster plan is terrible for a PvE, so don't worry about it. Hero's Burden, the main reason we're here is for feeding frenzy and destabilizing rounds. Not everybody's happy about destabilizing rounds, and I get it. People feel like you can get volatile rounds with your primary um, or with your void weapon just using the void subclass by itself. That's true, but I believe that this allows destabilizing rounds allows you to dip into the void subclasses without being in void. You can dip into the void keywords without being void, which I think is useful. If you really were just against it, then you still have kill clip to pair with feed and frenzy, which is pretty good. And the only 900 that's in the kinetic slot is the Pizzicato or the Pizza Cat. Only thing that's really here would be perpetual motion in this first column here for reload, which means I'm already against this fucking gun. And multi-kill clip or swashbuckler. They put threat detector in the wrong slot, which is the problem for me. I really think they're just leaning this one to be a PvP gun, so I wouldn't really worry about a 900 adaptive kinetic here. So that's all of them. This one's much longer. Um, Hopefully I get some feedback on whether you prefer this or the quicker like 10-minute thing, right? Um, I'm enjoying making these. These are nice. I feel like this is gonna solve a lot of my, hey Quentin, is this any good problem? Um, if you guys actually fucking watch it. So, like I said, this is a longer one, but it's up to you guys. You can watch it if you want. If you don't want to watch it, then, fuck you. Later.